chicken now. Black of peas came to make.
Welcome Storm fans, first time this season, joined by the 25-26 Captaincy group. We're here at Jardim in Altrincham, one of our partners for this season, so season ticket holders, make sure you get on top of that, get down 25% discount, and I'm sure you'll agree the food is fantastic. So, Harry, back to Manchester, fourth season, first as captain, how's that feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all great to be back. Obviously, an honor to be named as captain. Anytime you get that honor to captain the club, it definitely means a lot, and I'm excited to see what this group can do this year.
And I suppose if you rewind when you joined the club November, did you have any idea where you'd be 3.5 years later?
Well, a little bit in my head, just, with how much I enjoyed being here. I definitely saw myself then still being here now.
Yeah.
Didn't know I would be the captain at this time, but like I said, it's a big honor, and I'm excited to be back.
And ably assisted, sort of like your trusty lieutenant at this point, then, Steve-O.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Managed to keep the A?
Yeah, I did, yeah. No, it's nice, obviously, to be assistant captain on a team for 4 years now. It's been a great experience and a big honor. So, just doing what I can to help out and bring the club to the best of its abilities. So.
And you managed to pick one up.
Yeah. I think anytime the ownership, the coaching staff have kind of picked you to be in that position, it's a huge honor and a big responsibility. So it kind of just pushes you to kind of attain the next level and kind of just lead by example, at least in my case. And I think just trying to help guide the club in the right direction and kind of take that next step.
Yeah, I think you often hear Critch and Thinner when they've done interviews talk about that, these guys with letters, but then there's so many leaders in the room. And I think, certainly Loren, you taking the A this year, that's a prime example of that, because whilst you've not had that letter in previous seasons, you've always been very much a big part of the leadership group within the room.
Yeah, and I think it's still the same case this year. I think we could have given out 10 letters very easily, and so I mean that's a good problem to have. But I think definitely with the character of guys that we have in the room, it's kind of a recipe for success.
Yep. Welsh first season in Manchester, straight in with an assistant captaincy role. It's a position that you've held before in junior, and you've been a captain as well. You captain of Moncton.
Yeah.
Steve-O, you never been captain of Moncton, did you?
I was, yeah.
You were two Moncton captains. I thought Welsh had one over on you then.
Pipeline.
So the first season in Manchester, how's the experience so far, and obviously coming in as a new face in the room to get that responsibility from the off, that must be quite a feeling.
Yeah, my experience so far has been amazing. A lot of returning guys here, they've definitely made the transition really easy for myself. Getting a letter to echo what these guys said, it's obviously a huge honor, a big responsibility. Wasn't necessarily expecting it, but definitely excited to have that opportunity and just lead where I can.
I think as well, just to turn it back, coming away from the captaincy stuff, you've played in top leagues in Europe, and you've got great experience. What prompted the move to Manchester? It was, it's the guys that have played here before that and have they kind of sung its praises, or is it an opportunity that came about that you like the look of that? What
definitely a bit of both. Obviously I knew a few guys here coming in, Heine, Steve-O. I knew Busby and Clavel as well. They're both first timers here. So I've heard a lot of good things about the organization, and then the opportunity came about kind of late in July, I want to say. And then it really happened in a matter of 3 days. I got the contract offer, talked it over with my fiance, and it was kind of a no-brainer for us. So.
Yeah, I think that we've spoken about that. I think Critch has brought that up before. You're like the quickest signing to get done. You're kind of the benchmark now for other guys when they don't get the contracts back within 24 hours. With quite Welsh, you can do it. Why can't you?
Yeah, it definitely happened quick. It was kind of funny how it happened, but it all worked out.
So, Harry, with taking on this role now, does that change your game? Like, talk to us about like your style versus maybe Critch was in that role for 3 years, I think, and then before that Dallas was in that role for again I think 3 years. So, does your role change? Talk us through your leadership style versus theirs.
Yeah, well, I definitely not quite as vocal as the captain is Critchy, and then maybe a little more vocal than Dallas. So I kind of that middle. But I played with Dallas my whole time I was here, and obviously Critchy was my captain the whole time. So I learned a lot from both of them, and still now having them as coaches, they're going to have my back and help me through it all this year. And for as far as my game or anything like that changing, like I think there's a reason why I got it. I don't think there's really much change that needs to happen. Obviously, we have quite a bit new faces this year. So trying to be a little bit more vocal in the room and stuff like that. I'm not going to be screaming at guys or anything like that. Like, we're all good pros here, and that's kind of part of the reason why this group, it makes it a lot easier for me, just because we have a lot of good pros, and these guys know what it takes to win, and they do the right thing. So like I said, it makes it very easy for me to kind of just continue to do what I've been doing.
Yeah, and Harry speaks there about there's been a big transition of players this year. It was a season where I think for the three of you that were here last year, by our own standards, we underachieved as to where we want to be. So it was always likely that there was going to be a lot of change within the room. How do you bring people into this room that have maybe not been in the league before? Like, what's the message coming from the leadership group?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of about setting the standard early, and I think the returning guys kind of a little fire in them from obviously missing playoffs last year, and just having a good team and just not being competitive in games. And I think that's something that we really did really well from day one. Is everyone kind of came in and we set a standard immediately, and that's kind of how practice has been going through. And even in the games, we have a high standard of work rate. We got a high standard of compete level. So I think it's just kind of learning from last year and forming the identity of the team early in the season.
So Loren talked about the identity of the team, and this year I think it's safe to say it's the largest roster that we've had, certainly since the club was reformed in 2015. But for the first time, we're seeing academy graduates now make the standard and come through. Obviously, we've had Connor in the past, and Josh has been around the team, but this year Josh has been on every match night roster so far. Theo travelled with the team. Obviously, we were in Glasgow last night, but Theo travelled with the team, and he didn't make the game sheet, but he was around that for that experience. But with guys like Noah as well, splitting his time between here and Hull, how do you see your role as a leadership group in their development?
Just make them feel as part of the team. They'll be up and down a bit, but make them feel as comfortable as possible. And I mean, all those guys, they want to get better. They're looking to us to help them and see where they can improve. And just for us, we just have an ear for them and always be looking out for them. So it's been really nice getting to know them and try to help get them to the next level.
Yeah, and Harry, Steve was talking about getting them integrated in the team, but these guys are here on merit. They're not. This hasn't just been handed out to them. As a club, we've spoken before about we're aware of who the academy prospects coming through are, and we know who's kind of next that's likely to make that grade. But this isn't a charity case, is it? These guys they're good enough to be around the team.
No, absolutely. Like, everyone saw it firsthand with Connor. Like, Connor was a great player, came in and fit in really well with us, and he had his role on our team every night. And this year, Josh has kind of taken on that role now, and we saw Josh a few years before that in practice every day, and they're good players. And like Steve-O said, we're here to answer questions and help them and lead by example. Like, when they're coming to the rink every day and they see the standard that we hold ourselves to, that's only going to push them to to hold themselves to a higher standard, and it's only going to better them as hockey players and as people as well.
Yeah. So Harry talks about standards there, and you're a guy that's played in some of the high standard leagues in Europe. How would you rate the standard? Now you've seen a few teams in the league. How would you rate the standard of both the league and the teams that you've come across versus those across Europe?
Yeah, I think the talent level in this league is very high and extremely comparable to other leagues I've played in across Europe. I think a good example of that is how well teams do in Champions League. Like Belfast took Kalpa to overtime earlier this year, and it just shows how good this league really is, and they can compete with any other teams throughout Europe.
Yeah. And so as a leadership group, it's for you guys, we've talked about setting the standards, and do you guys have I know this probably comes from Ryan and from Critchy, they'll have their own targets, we've talked about this stuff. Do you guys set targets down for the team and look for them to achieve them?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously our goal here is to win games. Cam's kind of talked about it a lot. Just our goal is to win a trophy this year, whether that's Challenge Cup, playoffs, or the league. And obviously, to win anything in professional sports or anything competitive, it's a massive feat. So it requires massive action, and you have to hold yourself into doing the things that are difficult some days that you have to do in order to achieve stuff that's super rare. So I think the way that we can kind of contribute to kind of attaining those goals is, just our goals should be kind of in training and through practice, and then execution in games when we get the opportunity to kind of put everything that we work on all week together. So I think instead of looking too far ahead as an athlete, you kind of have to look at what do I do day by day? How can I stack habits? How can I progress? And I think those are kind of the goals that I think we should be looking towards, not necessarily the big picture, but how do we get the most out of ourselves and get the most out of our teammates in order to achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Harry, I think that final message from you, it's a new group. We've got lofty ambitions. We've got a solid foundation in place, but we really need the fan base to jump in and get behind that and support the guys this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fans, it's such a big part for us. The support, through the highs and the lows, when we know they're behind us, it really goes a long way for us. And when that building gets rocking, it gives us energy, and it's something special to play in front of. So like I said, the fans supporting us it's very big for our success.
Yeah. Well, you've heard it here first. It's good group, lofty ambitions. The goal's a trophy. They need you guys to get behind them. So please do. Tickets are on sale now. We're going to start enjoying some Jardim. We'll see you all at the shelter.